Developing tonight, the Oregon National Guard likely won't be ready for its mission in Portland until the weekend. That's according to the Oregon Military Department today. Comes as President Trump says the Guard is now in place in a post on Truth Social. Also brand new tonight, Governor Kotek says the deployment could cost taxpayers an estimated $10 million. That appears to be a grand total beyond the nearly $4 million the military department quoted just 24 hours ago for pay and allowances. Thanks for joining us today at 4. I'm Mike Azaway.
And I'm Deborah Knapp. KATU's on your side tracking this timeline really closely. Today we have new information on what it takes to mobilize these soldiers and airmen, plus new comments from President Trump and Oregon's Attorney General as the state tries to stop this from even happening. KATU's Tanvi Verma joins us from the ICE facility in South Portland. Tanvi, what is it looking like right now?
Deb, I'd rather show you than just tell you. Let's start with the corner of Moody and Bancroft. You can see there's obviously television crews here, but behind them on the fence, there's messaging that says, "We got the guillotine." It's messaging like this that's been a call that's been controversial. Some saying it's a call to violence, others saying it's protest art. You can see, of course, there's protesters holding signs that are also anti-ICE. I want to show you what the building looks like. It looks different. You can see it's boarded up. It wasn't always boarded up, but because there was so much anti-ICE messaging, since federal officers have been coming more and more into Portland, we've started to see that building get boarded up. Now, if you walk with me this way, I want to show you the actual protesters that are here. Let's start with the sign that says 100 days protesting ICE. It speaks for itself. We've talked to people who have been protesting for months out here. Originally, they were protesting an increase in immigration enforcement. Now, they're also protesting an increase of federal officers in the city and the National Guard being deployed. Here's what we know about the deployment of the National Guard. On Wednesday morning, President Donald Trump posting to Truth Social, writing, quote, "As I determined on September 27th when I activated and called into service the National Guard in Oregon, conditions continue to deteriorate into lawless mayhem. Antifa and the radical left anarchists have been viciously attacking our federal law enforcement officers." We brought that claim to the man who's suing President Donald Trump to end the National Guard deployment, and that is Attorney General Rayfield. In part because Tuesday night, federal officers arrested 6 people on charges of assaulting law enforcement.
What do you say to people who say Portland police are not at the protests and they're not actually making as many arrests as, let's say, the FBI is?
I don't think the facts bear those allegations out. And if you look at the very beginning of the year to now, if you look at violent crime in the city of Portland, it's down 51%. So you have a lot of positive metrics.
Some protesters have said the Department of Homeland Security has actually been violent against them. In this video, you can hear a protester talking about the deployment of gas and his car potentially being hit by some sort of munition. According to an Oregon military department leader, the deployment is going to be 80 days.
So when we look at 200 service members for a total of 80 days, and that 80-day order encompasses a 60-day mission, but allows us some time on the front end to get them trained and some time on the back end because they will accrue leave. So it allows time on the back end for us to do demobilization and for them to utilize their leave on the back end.
And coming up at 5, we hear from a protester why she says ICE is the aggressor when it comes to clashes. Reporting live in South Portland, Tanvi Verma, KATU News.
Tanvi, thank you. And again, ICE is staying tight-lipped on the training and the deployment plans for National Guard troops. Oregon Senator Jeff Merkley dug into some of the gray areas today.
Here is our understanding of the status of the troop deployments. 200 members of the Oregon National Guard have been federalized. They're going to go Camp Relia, Armed Forces Training Center in Warrenton for 3 to 5 days for training in crowd control, training the rules for the use of force before being deployed. We have conflicting reports about the length of deployment. The last one I heard was going 15 days to gear up and gear down and 45 days to be on mission. But other reports have it being a longer period.
Senator Merkley confirmed troop commands will be coming from Colorado Springs. He says about 20 people could come to Oregon as part of the command structure, but says details are still vague.
We're also taking a closer look at what National Guard members are being told about the mission. On Monday, the Adjutant General of the Oregon National Guard sent a letter to soldiers and airmen. He said the mission is straightforward: protect federal facilities and the federal employees working in them. He said members will answer to the federal government. He also said a federal deployment does not diminish their ongoing state mission to be ready in case of emergency or disaster. He also acknowledged there are some members who don't agree with the president's order, but that they took an oath to support and defend the Constitution and follow the orders of the president and the governor, saying, quote, that oath doesn't come with an asterisk that says only when I agree with the mission. We don't get to pick and choose. We execute lawful orders with professionalism and honor, period.
Right now, Portland police are trying to identify this woman who they say assaulted somebody outside the ICE facility last night. Police say somebody reported the incident just before 8:45 and pointed out the suspect to a dialogue officer who can't do enforcement. They only serve as a liaison. That officer tried to talk to the suspect, but she left. Police did talk to the victim, and they're investigating. If you know anything about this case, contact Portland Police.
Now let's take a look at the last 24 hours. ICE says federal officers arrested 6 people outside the facility last night. They're charged with assaulting law enforcement. KATU's Victor Park spent the evening monitoring the protest. He saw federal officers fire pepper balls from the roof of the ICE facility and patrol the streets outside. He saw several people clashing with federal agents and saw several protesters being carried away.
Well, KATU has received a lot of questions about an increase in helicopters and planes flying over the ICE facility. So here's what we can confirm. The Port of Portland says it is aware of the higher volume of activity over South and Southwest Portland. It says it appears to be related to federal law enforcement or military activity, and it's out of their port's control. According to the FAA, there's a section of South Portland temporarily restricted airspace for special security reasons. So the zone is a nautical mile and covers the Markham Bridge to South Idaho Street from north to south, and the Markham nature area to Southeast 17th from east to west there. The restriction began September 17th and will run through October 17th. ICE has not shared if they are flying any helicopters. However, FBI Portland did confirm a Customs and Border Patrol helicopter was conducting law enforcement activity over Portland on Saturday.
The U.S. Department of Justice has filed a lawsuit against 4 Metro County sheriffs and corrections departments in Oregon. That lawsuit asks a federal judge to compel the sheriffs to honor federal subpoenas for information about people released from prison into those counties. The federal government says they are deportable. Defendants include officials from Multnomah, Clackamas, Washington, and Marion counties. The lawsuit does not name the 10 people the DOJ is seeking information about. It says they are convicted of crimes ranging from assault and manslaughter to robbery and rape. This appears to be the first lawsuit of its kind directly targeting county corrections and sheriffs. The DOJ has previously filed a number of lawsuits against sanctuary cities and states, including Oregon. The story is changing by the minute. KATU's on your side tracking those new developments. You can download the KATU News app, sign up for push alerts to get breaking updates right to your phone.